Welcome to Geek Games and Collectibles, where we share our love of fandom
while promoting new and pre-owned games, toys, and collectibles available for purchase from CanGeek.com.
Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Scott here from Geek Games and Collectibles. Welcome as always to the Geek YouTube channel and to our Geek Speak video for the week of May the 9th. This week we're going to talk a little about Star Trek Picard Season 2. And I want to start by acknowledging that earlier this week I was having a bit of a difficult time sleeping. I was up quite late one night and I was channel hopping, and that's when I stumbled across one of my favorite Star Trek The Next Generation episodes of all time. The episode is entitled simply The Inner Light. Now, that episode will always fall on my top 10 list for top 10 greatest Next Generation episodes. If you've seen the episode, I'm sure you understand why. If you haven't seen the episode, I strongly encourage you to go and watch The Inner Light. Now, The Inner Light is a great place to start with this video because as good as that episode was, it also exemplifies, in my opinion, all of the things that were wrong with Star Trek Picard Season 2. Now, very quickly, I have to acknowledge I've been involved in some conversations on social media, both Twitter and Facebook, with different people regarding Season 2, and a lot of people seem to be blaming the actors for Picard Season 2 not being up to their standards. As someone with a minor background in performing arts myself, let me explain to you that actors barely ever get a say in the production of something. They are there being paid to do a job. They're handed a script, they memorize their lines, they perform their lines. If it's a television show or a film, the director will approve the scene, let you film the scene, call cut, move to the next scene, or they'll decide that your lines were not performed to their standards and you refilm the scene again. But in terms of production, actors don't always get a say in, the writing of lines, and they don't always get a say in the story being created, and that's just the reality. So blaming the actors who are being paid to perform a role, in my opinion, seems ludicrous. You want to blame anyone for how you feel about Season 2 of Picard, you need to look at the writers and you need to look at the production team, because that's where the blame really belongs. And I say this because from the perspective of a long-term Star Trek fan, it felt like no one working behind the scenes had ever watched a Star Trek episode previously, specifically a Next Generation episode. Because let's be honest, there was a lot of retconning that took place in Picard Season 2. There were 4 key things that stood out to me in terms of retconning. So retcon number 1, Picard's mother. It's established in the Next Generation that Picard's mother lived to a ripe old age. There's pictures of Picard's mother that appear in his ready room in one episode. There's multiple mentions of his mother living to a ripe old age. So, killing his mother off in Picard Season 2 to exemplify the fact that she had a mental illness wasn't necessarily the way to go. Now, I think it's great that they touched on mental illness in Picard Season 2. It's no joke, and it deserves more attention. But retconning a previously established story to kill off his mother, maybe not the way to go. Now, retcon number 2, Picard had a brother by the name of Robert. We meet Robert in a TNG episode entitled Family. We meet him, his wife Marie, their son, and it's established that Picard's family is integral to his, backstory, integral to him as a character. So much so that they killed his brother and his nephew at the beginning of Star Trek Generations, albeit off camera, but it is established that that information has really dragged him down throughout Star Trek Generations. Again, that plays into the entire concept of the Nexus. So it felt like they retconned his brother and his brother's family in Picard Season 2. There's only ever mention of him and his father and his mother. What happened to Picard's brother? Now, retcon number 3. Q. Q is an omnipotent being. How in the hell does Q die? It is previously established in other Star Trek series that the only way a member of the Q continuum can die is if they become mortal. They take, for example, human form. If they are powerless, they can die a mortal death like you and I. Q was not powerless in Picard Season 2. Q's powers play very heavily into how the story for Picard Season 2 begins. So, Q's dying? It's a retcon. It is. He apparently can die, so now other members of the Q continuum can die as well, which, by the way, is also kind of a slap in the face to a story that was established in Star Trek Voyager, where another member of the Q continuum wants to kill himself because a immortal life is unbearable. So much so that the continuum trapped him in an asteroid for hundreds of thousands of years. And ultimately, Catherine Janeway is asked to hold a trial to rule on the validity of him being able to kill himself because he asks for asylum. So, again, it's kind of another retcon and a slap in the face. Now, retcon number 4. Agnes Girardi is the new Borg Queen. This is established in Picard Season 2 as well. You've either watched it or you haven't. If you have, you know what happened. If you haven't, then let's just say through a strange twist of coincidence, Girardi kills the current Borg Queen with a shotgun, but not before she assimilates Girardi and takes control of her body. Now, later on in the season, Girardi will reassert her personality. Her and the Borg Queen come to an arrangement and agree to share the body. They fly off into distant space and hundreds of years later come back. Now, the thing I have an issue with there is if Agnes Girardi is the new Borg Queen, then it takes everything that happened in Star Trek Voyager between the crew of the Voyager and the Borg, and it basically retcons it. It throws it all out the window, because the arrangement that Girardi and the Borg Queen come to is that they will go off into distant space and build the collective, but they will only assimilate people who want to be assimilated, maybe because they're dying or they're living miserable lives or whatever. So there's another retcon for you right there. So again, it felt like the writers and the producers involved in Season 2 of Picard had never previously watched a Star Trek episode and had never sat down to think about all of the decisions that were being made here that were in direct contradiction and created continuity errors for things that had taken place in previous Star Trek series. Now, having said that, if we don't like something, we don't have to watch, right? So I did watch, and up to a certain point, I enjoyed what I was watching. There were definite possibilities with Picard Season 2 that I wish they had explored more. I wish they had explored this alternate reality that was created, you know, a little more. This reality where the Earth is basically a totalitarian planet. I honestly felt like that was taking place in a mirror universe until it was established that it wasn't. But again, they could have explored that a little more. I loved the fact that they brought John DeLance back as Q. I was really looking forward to seeing what the story was they were creating around him. I wish he had had more screen time. I wish that they had not set up this scenario where he in fact died, but being able to see John DeLance back in the role as Q even one more time made watching Picard Season 2 worthwhile. I also love the fact that they brought back Wil Wheaton as Wesley, albeit for the 2 minutes that he was involved. It would have been nice to have seen him there maybe a little longer. I would love it if they found a way to bring him back into Season 3 as a member of the original crew of the Enterprise. They're bringing back LeVar Burton, Jonathan Frakes, Marie Sturtis, Gates McFadden, Michael Dorn. Again, it would be nice to see them find a way to bring Wil Wheaton back for Season 3, but from what I've read and from what I've heard, that's probably not likely to happen. But if it does, hey, happy coincidence. I will watch Picard Season 3. I'm not a huge fan of what they did in Season 2. It also feels like the big thing with Picard is every season they're killing off one long-term character. Again, they killed off Data in Star Trek Nemesis, but found a way to bring him back in Picard Season 1, kind of. And then they killed him off at the end of Season 1 again. They brought back John DeLance as Q for Season 2. And then, again, they killed him off. So I'm really curious to see if they continue that trend and, unfortunately, who they might kill off in Season 3. If they do turn their attention to Worf, it better be an honorable death. That's all I'm going to say. But again, we're not forced to watch as fans. If we don't like something, we change the channel. I was not a big fan of Star Trek Picard Season 2, but I did continue to watch because I saw possibilities. I just wish that from a continuity point of view, the production team had taken a little more time to play connect the dots before putting out Season 2 of Picard. Again, if you've sat through this video, let me know if you agree with my opinions here or not. Again, they are solely my opinions. You do not necessarily have to agree, but on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say Star Trek Picard Season 2 is a 6 out of 10 at best, but I will watch Season 3 because I'm a sucker for Star Trek. So, thank you very much for listening to me ramble and for watching this first Geek Speak video that we've put out in weeks. And I hope that you've taken something out of this that you've enjoyed. Watch for another Geek Speak video coming soon. But until then, take care of yourselves and ciao for now.